Hey everybody, welcome back. It's time for Mike's Take.
You wanted to talk about transgenders. What's your opinion on it?
Well, first of all, I support as an adult, as long as you're not harming anybody, whatever you want to do, it's fine. I may not agree with it, but I don't have to. It's free country, do what you want. But when it comes to children, like there were parents, there's a case in Texas somewhere, that the child, I think, is 5 or 6 years old. The child's 8 now. But when the child was 5 or 6, the parents were separated, going to get a divorce. Child at 5 years old decided that they don't want to be it's a boy. I forget what his name is. He identify as a boy. He wants to be a girl. I'm not sure a 5-year-old child knows what the word identify means to begin with. So then the mother let him start to wear dresses to school and all that. And the father complained, but he's like, hey. So they went and they interviewed the parents and they interviewed the child. And, at 5 years old, a child will pretty much, in no sense, not to be mean, is a guinea pig. A 5-year-old child would do what a parent tells them, that they want to make the parents happy. And then, the reason why the case went to court is the mother wanted to have surgery done, transgender surgery done, on like a 6-year-old child. That's child abuse all day long. If the child gets older, they're 15 to 16 years old, and they understand the comprehension about this and they still want to do it, I don't agree with it. I'd say fine because they understand. But a 5 or 6-year-old child does not understand that. Just like you won't let a 5 or 6-year-old child drive, stay out all night by themselves. So all these things just say no to, because it's unsafe and it's in the best interest of the child for you to say no. So why do you say yeah to this? Because you don't want to hurt their feelings? It's ridiculous. And this whole idea that you can't tell a child no or someone no because they're going to get offended, nobody hears the word no more than children. They'll get over it, okay? You could have told them, no, I won't let you wear the dress, and and they would have forgot about it. I think it's because they're a boy, or they were a girl, that they want to later on in life decide they want to be 16, 17, they want to decide that they want to become a man, then that's a whole different story because their mental comprehension understands what they're doing. A child doesn't, so it's like Sarah going, well, I want to drive at 6, here's the keys to my car. That would be wrong and irresponsible. It's just as irresponsible to go, at 6 I want to wear a dress, and you go, okay, Bobby, you can wear a dress. Because you know what the consequences, you know what how that's going to impact their lives, and they don't, and you say yeah.
So I have a question. What do you think of the parents who are putting their kids in positions where they're influencing them once they may say something that a kid would say, such as, I watched, the Frozen musical movie from Disney, and now I want to be Ayla, and it's a 5-year-old boy.
It's funny you mention it because that's...
What do you think of the parents in this situation?
Yeah, no, but it's funny you mention this case in Texas. That's what started it all. This young boy watched the movie. What was the movie you just said?
Frozen.
Watched the movie Frozen. Well, although there were a lot of young children who watch a movie and they want to be that character. You know what I mean?
But what about the parents? What do you think of them in this situation?
The parents should be smart enough to know, unless the parents are stupid. It's a 5-year-old child for one thing, so they're going to have a different idea every 20 minutes. You should know that. If you have a 5-year-old, if you raise a child, you know that. If you have a 5-year-old, you can figure that out pretty quickly. At 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they have an idea every 20 minutes. You should know that they're a boy. You know they don't belong in a dress. That they probably don't mean what they're saying. They don't really mean it, and it's just a fad. It's a little fantasy thing. They just saw the movie. But they'll get over it shortly.
But let's clarify something. There are some kids that are boys who wear dresses that are going to wear them their whole lives, that are just gay. Now... No, but stop. Can I finish I finish a point?
No, you can't. This is important. I got to say, studies have been done. Homosexuality or being gay has nothing to do with transgender. Mm-hmm. Most transgender people are not gay. Most gay people are not transgender, so they don't go together. But
what I'm saying is it's not about transgender. It's the fact that there are some men who will cross-dress their whole lives and be homosexual that will never become transgender. We can admit that there are, simply put, cross-dressers. They have the Diana Ross look-alike contest and everything.
All right.
So there is the realm of men who wear dresses at a young age, keep doing it, are homosexual when they're older. Nothing wrong with that. And they want to do shows and such. Do you think that we should be telling parents, well, if your child wants to be gay, that's a choice they should make? I put it back on the parents in these questions.
What just you're talking about transgender? What is
I'm
gay
saying that we need. Do you think we need to tell parents it's okay if they are just homosexual, that they do not need to transition? Do you think that is acceptable?
I think it's a ridiculous question because most transgender people are not homosexual, Anthony.
But my thing is, technically, they are. Because if a man transfers to being a woman, but is still having sex with women, they are then considered a lesbian. Now, these are the standards that they set. My question is, do you think that parents should be basically educated on the idea that their kids can be homosexual without being transgender? That is not the next necessary step.
I don't think they know, and I'll tell you the reason why I say no. They shouldn't bring it up at all. The child will figure it out as they grow up. Do you know what I mean? You want to try to give your child, raise them, give them the best advice you can, do the best you can. But they're going to grow up and they're going to make their own decisions. Whether or not you agree with them, anybody, the humans, they're going to grow up and they're going to be independent. Mm-hmm. So I want to try to steer them towards one thing or another, no. But only thing is something's harmful, I would try to steer them away from them. That's all I'm saying. My point is, and I'll say it again, there are three things you won't let a 5-year-old do. You won't let him drive. If the store's a mile away, you're not going to let him walk by himself because he's 5. So if you're going to say no to the two things, they're dangerous to the kid. But if a 5-year-old goes, I want to wear a dress to school tomorrow, you're going to go, okay. The first two things are danger to a child. The third thing is going to be danger, maybe not in a physical way. You know they're going to be ridiculed or bullied by the whole school. You know that. So just in that alone, why the hell would you say yes? The other thing, too, is at 5 years old, if a 20-year-old man wants to wear a dress and go to work, they're doing it, they know, fully aware, mentally, cognitively, what they're doing. A 5-year-old child does not have that comprehension, not even close. So they're letting them make a bad decision. They don't understand the ramifications of it whatsoever. So why would you agree with it? Just like if a 5-year-old wants to drive, they don't understand that they're probably going to get in an accident. That's why you say no. So you say no to a 5-year-old for a lot of things to keep them safe. This would be another reason to say no.
Okay, so you would say, in your opinion, that it's more about letting them gradually progress towards something than forcing it on them at a young age.
Yeah, you try to give them the best advice you can.
And guide them.
Okay. I don't think you should try to force anything down. In other words, you got to, hold my hand when you cross the street. If you're going to be out late, call me. All the normal stuff.
Right.
Wash your hands before you eat. The normal stuff, yeah. But I just, what bothers me, that irritates me the most is, as a parent, apparently I'm a bad person. Because as a parent, if I was sitting there and this conversation came up and I told the parent, oh gee, at 5 years old, that's really wrong. You shouldn't encourage your child to wear a dress. That's wrong, and you know what's wrong. Why would you do that? I, right away, am, according to some people, I'm an outcast. I'm evil because I said that. When it's the truth.
Right.
I mean...
Do you have an issue with people who have the opinion that, well, I don't want to stagnate my child's growth at a young age because I don't want to have to tell them no when it comes to decisions that they make, because I don't want to ever be the parent who is known as too strict or too overbearing, and then I, quote-unquote, messed them up because I held them back for something they dreamed of doing?
Okay, well, I don't know if anybody dreams of becoming transgender. Maybe they do. I answer this as this. Look, as a parent, your job is to say no a lot. Your job is to say yes, that's a parent. You're a parent, you do the best job. No parent is perfect. You're going to screw up, you're going to make mistakes like everybody. But as a parent, you do the best job you can. And, there's nothing wrong with a child hearing no. As a child, you're going to hear no more than any other statement. I love you and no, the two things you're going to hear most. So, yes, it's okay to tell a child no. This idea that we're going to give a kid whatever they want, that's ridiculous. They're a kid. I'm the parent, I'm the boss, you're the child. If I say no, it's no. The reason why most parents say no, they do it just about always in the best interest of the child. Because a child of 5 years old doesn't have the comprehension, again, about driving and all that. So, no.
Well, the alternative is that they say that the best interest of your child should be supporting them no matter what. That's what they say. Now, look,
Well,
this is your take, so I want to know honestly, do you think it's naive of people who are adults who are having children now that they're saying, I don't want to even tell my child no about the most basic things? Like, they'll teach them how to cross the street. Obviously, you can't drive a car, all that. But when it comes to something that can affect their lives for the foreseeable future as an adult, when it comes to being transgender, and it's not a matter of like personal opinion, it's a matter of studies that have concluded this will affect someone psychologically for the rest of their life. That there's no easy road. Most of the people who struggle with this have some sort of mental illness underlying as is, and then that should be dealt with first. Now, you're not going to diagnose that in a 5-year-old unless it's extreme, but do you have a problem with the naivety of parents who seriously believe that they're doing the right thing in terms of not stagnating their child's quote-unquote progress, even when it comes to something that later on in life they could look up and see will be a detriment as opposed to a benefit? That is not saying that people, so we're clear on the record, who are transgender are going to have a hard life, but it does not make things easier. If anything, it can be more of a... Well, I would say it's something more that can drag you down than lift you up if you do this to a child at a young age. Go ahead. I want to know your opinion.
I think the parents are wrong for the very simple reason they know the implications to society. They know the ramifications for it because they're adults, and the child does not. Now, so if the child had the mental comprehension and they knew all that, would they make that same decision? I'm not sure if they would. Maybe they would. But the child doesn't know any of that. So I say you're wrong, and going along with that, they don't know what they're getting into when you do, when you know a lot of it's going to be negative. Why would you say yes and put them in that position when they don't understand that and you do? Well, it's about my last point.
Go ahead.
It's about putting them in the best position, not about how you feel. Mm-hmm. So if you feel, oh gee, they're going to get disappointed, it's going to bother you as a parent. But it's in the best interest of... Now, why wouldn't I let you do that? Because you're going to die, but you believe that you can fly. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a mental... It's a child fantasy because it's not for a young kid. It's a fucking fantasy. It's a fucking... what do they infantile? What do they call it? It's fucking... For you to get mad at me that I won't go along with that is ridiculous. You have no... You have... I have...
So you think the transgender thing is just the stupidity?
I think the biggest thing is child abuse when it comes to children. Children have a lot of different fucking ideas, okay? A lot of things kids want to do. They want to drive when they're 5. Think of all the shit that a kid wants to do. Just say no, they can't let them do it because they're going to get hurt.
Right.
So, and an 8 and 9-year-old child, well, he's 6 and he wants to wear a dress, so we encourage that. Are you fucking stupid? In other words, he doesn't know, he doesn't have the comprehension that you do, so why you would encouraging something damaging? Do you get that? Mm-hmm. If he understood the concept and wanted to wear the dress, and you condoned it, I'd be okay. But he doesn't get that. He doesn't understand that.
Right.
And that's why I have a huge problem with you saying that that's okay. Do you get that?
Yeah, it's child endangerment. You're endangering the life of your child.
He doesn't understand the concept, and
right.
you do. Well, you're a fuck. You shouldn't have that. That makes me mad.
So what do you think of the people who say that you can put your child on hormone therapy at a young age, but then
why would you?
But then when they get older, that child can then be taken off of therapy, go back to normal. There's people who actually are scientists and doctors who say that's a possibility. What do you think of that?
Why are you putting child on hormone therapy to begin with?
Because they said at 5 that they're no longer a boy, they want to be a girl. Instead of their name being James, they're Jennifer. And the parents encourage this because they don't want to commit violence against their child by telling their child that...
So you don't want to tell the word...
they're not who they say they are.
You don't want to tell the kid no.
Basically, yeah.
That's a word a child is going to hear a lot. No.
Yeah, but what do you think specifically about...
And they're not going to like it when you tell them no. Who gives a shit? In other words, you're the parent, you know better. and the chances are you're making the decisions in their best interest. So it doesn't matter whether or not they like it.
All right, but let me ask.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask the question.
But because they're going to be offended, you got to say yes.
All right, but let me ask the question. The question was.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I do. But what do you think of the people who are scientists and doctors that say you can put them on hormone therapy, and then they get to a certain age, and if they say they don't want to do it anymore, you can reverse the effects of it?
I don't know what hormone therapy does to the body. Why are you putting them on?
It's giving a boy estrogen and a girl testosterone.
Okay, why are you giving that to them? Because they're not asking. They didn't know what hormone therapy is at 6 years old. So why would you give it to them to say I want to wear a dress?
Because
if he says that he wants to wear a dress, are you going to give hormone therapy? Here's a good question. Out of all the other dangerous things, jumping off a roof, driving a car, whatever a 5-year-old wants to do, they got a lot of ideas that we know aren't realistic because they're children. You don't encourage any of those ideas because they would be dangerous and they would hurt the child. Mm-hmm. So why are you encouraging this one? All the other ones said no. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't know you can't drive. Said I drive, here you go. It's 5 years old. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you were protecting the child by saying no to all these ideas, like they want to drive. Okay. So why aren't you saying no to this?
Right. Well,
do you get it?
They want to justify it as well. My child wanting to, jump off a roof and be Superman is super dangerous. But if my kid doesn't want to be a boy or a girl anymore, then there's something we can do that isn't going to harm them, because all these people who are professionals are telling us you can do this and no harm will come to the kid. But then the real issue is, this is your opinion again, this is your take. I say, based on data, they talk about the suicide rate being like above 70%.
No, that's
pretty much the.
No, it's 40%.
No, it's 70-something percent.
No, it's 40%.
No, it's 70-something percent. It literally is for trans. Okay, so they have this thing where they come around, their camaraderie, all that shit, and then you have the kids who are high school athletes. They want to transition out. They want to be the man, but they can't be the man, so they become the woman who's the man, and they crush all the records. And then there's the cases of the parents want something so badly that they didn't have at that age, where maybe their parents were abusive, or maybe their parents didn't treat them fairly, and whenever they asked for something, they were told no matter what it was. So their dreams and all that they felt were dashed and hoped by their parents. So when they get older, they have this mentality of no matter what, I'm going to make sure my child gets X, Y, or Z. But then there's the extreme case of, I didn't live out my dream, so you're going to live out the dream for me. And for some sick reason, some people who are parents have kids and decide you're going to be transgender no matter what. And it's like this whole...
I don't know if I agree with that.
There's cases of it. There's clear cases of it. Like the one where they had the guy, and we'll put it on screen for everyone there. This is Mike's take, but we're putting up facts and evidence too. Who was fighting for custody of his son because his wife was deciding to turn his son into his daughter. And the boy was only going along with this because mommy's approval. Mommy wanted this, mommy wanted that. Well, I want to make sure my mom's happy, so I'm going to go along with it.
Okay.
My issue is, it's the mom in that situation who's forcing the child to do something because they want it. It doesn't matter what the child wants.
Well, I mean, I never really looked at it from that angle, but if that is going on, that's...
I personally...
but that's horrible. That's child abuse.
Personal opinion, more than average, I think it happens with these cases, because what other reason would you have for doing this? If it's not about acceptance, it's not about teaching your kids to treat others with respect.
They want them to be independent and don't want to, not ran into parade, there's another word. They want to encourage them in creative ideas. I want to let them come into their own. Now, keep in mind, they're talking about a
participation trophy, so everyone feels good. So that's what we're at as Americans, yeah. That's the shit. But my question is...
That probably has to do with it, that nobody can be...
Right.
The thing, guess what? You lost because you suck. You lost because you suck, and you aren't as good as the other guys, and somebody's got to lose. Yes.
Let me ask a question. So, do you think the kids of this generation would be better off having a firm hand that's fair, like every other generation had, like I had, or I'm going to give you every single thing you want no matter what. I'll never dash your dreams and hopes. I'll always support you even when they're trying to get a fucking gender studies degree in college, wasting years of their life on a degree that has no value in the real world.
Zero.
You know, or I'm going to support you being transgender, even though, as much as I may disagree with people who say like there's a high suicide rate and all these things, the facts are the facts. Like I'll just say it. We're going to put it up on screen. 40% suicide rate is fucking high.
Yes.
I think the national average is like maybe, I'm not sure. I think it's like, what, 10 to 20% of people?
I think it's lower than 10%.
It's probably lower than that. So 40%, it's like active duty military may see those numbers. People who are in high stress jobs like being police officers, where they see shit.
Not even that high for them.
Well, what I'm saying is that it would be understandable if they had a high suicide rate given what they do. But somebody who's transitioning, my point is, my question is, if we were to have the generation before this upbringing, do you think it would affect things more positively, moving away from the current quote-unquote progressive change they're trying to make within childbearing and child raising?
Well, yes, in the sense that I think because a lot more fathers were in the home, and it says it's statistically proven when you grow up with two parents, the odds of the child of being successful are exceeded by a great degree. So, yes, but here's what some of the problem is you were just saying, and I'm going to say it over and over again. This transgender thing, when it started out years ago when I first heard about it, I said to myself, well, this will never go anywhere. Because it's ridiculous, and it'll be fucking forgotten about. And it's like it's stronger and stronger and stronger. So I thought it was ridiculous, you know.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's hilarious. Like, this transgender thing is just going to go away.
Actually, when I first heard about it, I'm like, are people encouraging this? And what are they, idiots? That's what I said to myself. I'm saying, these people are morons. And I'm like, okay, right. This stupidity can't last long. It'll fade away. And it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And more people that encourage stupidity, the stupider and the worse it gets. Now you got fucking... And by the way, this is interesting. This case in Texas went to a jury, went to a trial. 11 people on the jury agreed that it was okay for that young child to have transgender surgery. And they appealed it, and another judge blocked it. So, when I heard, now this is only like 3 years ago this happened. This went to 3 or 4 years ago, this went to court. And I said, when I was kind of following the news, not really. When I heard that 11 people in that jury agreed with the mother, I said, how many, everybody in the jury is a fucking moron? You gotta fucking be kidding me. 11 people, these are all adults on a jury, sitting there saying that it's okay for a 6-year-old child to have transgender physical surgery that will affect them in the rest of their life, and they all know this child has no comprehension what this is. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is moron? I was so mad. They all need to be smacked in the fucking head. All these people in the jury need to be smacked in the head and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? How ridiculous is that? And 11 of them agreed. Mm-hmm.
Would you say that your anger is coming from a place of not just being a parent, but the understanding that, as anyone would rationally say, you're endangering your child, knowing full well the effects that this could have on them?
Knowing, yes, because it's not my kid. But just, I have obviously a child. Even if you don't have children, if you're an adult, everything should be focused on the best interest of the child, not what I want, not what you want. Mm-hmm. And doing permanent, because once you do that surgery, you can't reverse it. Even if you could. Why are you doing major surgery on a child at 6 years old that is not medically necessary? No matter what it is, should be no. No matter what age. If you don't need major surgery, this is like, you're going to just go for the fuck of it. In other words, no matter how old you are, no matter what age you are, major surgery is only usually done to save your life. You know what I mean? To improve your life. Mm-hmm. That's not the case. So for 11 people to go, that's okay. I don't even think a kid. I don't know how hormone therapy works, but for a child 6 years old to be taking hormone pills is fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Does it ever come about where the quote-unquote progressive change people are trying to make happen can be something that does not change things progressively, but instead has a negative effect where it takes away, and I'm not talking about society, I'm talking about just family-wise, like progressive change talking about, oh, you should encourage a child to make whatever decisions they want and all that. This is having, as we can see clearly, negative effects. Because we could talk about a suicide rate, but that's for people who are adults. We're not talking about children, right? There's suicidal teenagers who are suicidal for being fucking teenagers. It's tough. Life's not easy growing up, okay, for a lot of people. My question is, do you think that, as I said before, the firm hand and all that, but do you think that we should just accept there is a certain way of bringing about the quote-unquote change people want to see, but there's certain things that have to remain where they are? Like the way you raise your children is, when they're old enough to make decisions for themselves, like they're 18, they moved out, they're in college, if they want to go get transgender reassignment surgery, you go, okay, you're an adult, this is your decision. I'm not going to touch that decision for the entirety of your life. I'm going to say my piece when you're older, because I can still have an opinion if I've raised you, but I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Yep. What I am going to do for those 18 years up until that time, I'm going to tell you, no, you can't do that. No, you can't have that. No, that's no, 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 no. But then you're old enough to make your own decisions. Feel free. Do you think we should go back to that as opposed to how we have it now?
Well, how you raise your children is your business, but children are going to know a lot. I'd feel the same way if a child is 6 years old, 5 years old, goes, hey, I'd like to chop off 2 of my fingers. Just hypothetically. Well, I don't think I need both thumbs. Anything like that, I would say no to it too. Anything that is going to harm the child negatively, as a parent, you should say no to. And it doesn't matter whether it's the child, they don't like it, that's shit, they don't like it, all right, they don't like it, they're fine. They don't like a lot of things, you know what I mean? But the best interest of the child should always come first. And you can't sit there and, so you're going to encourage a child that's 6 years old, 5 years old, to take hormone therapy. They can't spell the word. They don't even know what it means. And why are they taking that? Because they told you they want to become a girl and you go along with that? I mean, that's just... And I ask again. You said no to them driving a car. No to them staying all night. No to jump off a building at 2 years old. Why are you saying, say no to all those free whatever it is? Because it would be harmful to them and you know it. So why do you say yes to this?
But again...
Why is this different?
Let me answer. We come back to the fact that people say... unironically, let me finish, please.
The parents would be upset.
No, they say, well, if my child decides to do this isn't harmful to them. Because I've been told by Dr. A, B, and C, and all these gender experts, as they're being called. I'm sorry, I gotta laugh at that. They're telling me, well, they can do the surgery and there's no long-term effects, and it's like, okay. These kids are going to be resentful of you at some point because of this, at a young age. Because, I'll say it like this, if you come around to being an adult and you can make your own decisions, you realize a lot of the time that when you were being raised, if you were upset for some reason, if they said no, there is a reason behind that. Everybody recognizes this.
Yes.
It's like, I'm telling you no, not because I hate you, but because I love you, and I'm making sure that you don't screw up.
Yes.
It's never about, I want you to do this because it's my rules and you don't get to decide, and I don't care how you feel. It's, I need to make sure I get you to a place where you're not in a bad position in life. Sometimes
in life, when you have a child, I said no, and that's the end of it. Okay, I get that. But here's the thing that bothers me the most is, I understand a 5-year-old child, they have a lot of ideas that aren't reasonable. But why is a lot of society, or a good chunk of society, is going to go along with this and say it's okay? And me as a parent, I'm a bad for saying no.
Well, I have something to contribute. I think a lot of people view it through this lens of like, well, it's their kid, not my kid. So as long as my kid doesn't start doing this shit, it's okay.
No, you're missing the point.
Let me finish, because a lot of people will see someone getting robbed, and instead of going to prevent a robbery, they sit back, wait for it to be over, and then call the cops. Or they assume somebody else will step in. I think it's the same principle that applies to, well, if it's not happening directly to me, and this doesn't impact me in some way, then okay, fine. I don't think it's the most direct, connection between two events, because one's a crime and one also is a crime technically. But my thing is saying, look, I look at it through the scope of, if you want to do that to your kids, I don't agree with it. I think it's awful, but at the end of the day, that's your decision. Okay? Yeah. And it's the same lens as, you're going to get robbed. I'm going to sit back and watch it happen because I don't like it. I hope no one robs anybody, commits crimes against anybody. But what am I supposed to do about it?
All right, I have another thing.
Now, there's a thing about you can't prevent crime if you're, concealed carry, whatever, and all that. You can call the cops. I agree, okay? But in terms of the same kind of mentality of, if it's not happening directly to me, and I don't have to intervene, / it won't affect my life in some way, then why bother?
All right.
I'm going to allow you to be free, as everyone says in this country.
If you tell a child and they ask they want to wear a dress at 5 years old, and you tell them no, why are some parents so afraid to say that and stick with it? What's the harm in that? A child hears no a lot at 5 years old. So just saying a word they're unfamiliar with.
Well,
and they know what it means. So what's the big deal about saying no and sticking to it?
I'll explain. It's a lot of people say it's the perception of being judged, where now today a lot of people raise their kids in this liberal kind of sense of like, well, if Maggie down the street says my boy's a girl, you're not supposed to judge Maggie for deciding her boy's a girl. You're just supposed to sit back and be like, okay, cool.
She's an idiot.
Right? Because
she's an idiot.
If you're in that
she's an idiot.
All right, if you're in that neighborhood and you say anything negative towards Maggie, you're looked at as the villain.
Well, because here's the reason why. If Maggie at 5 years old wants to become a boy at 6 and the parents encourage it, it's child abuse. Because
let me explain, because you missed this. You didn't hear what I said. You're looked at as the villain.
Oh, I would be the villain.
In this position we're in now,
yes.
This is progressive, this is right, you can't question it. So, if someone decides their kid's going to be transgender or Superman, fucking dress up as a cactus every day and go stand in the desert, their kid is allowed to do that, and if you say anything edgewise to their parenting style, or question the validity of their decision, you're now hating on transgender people, you're transphobic, you're all of these terms, which are totally misused because, again, everything that people are saying is you're afraid of this change because, you somehow in some way feel like you might be transgender. And it's like, let me explain something.
No.
Let me just point this out. The question is, if I saw that you were beating the shit out of your child in front of a crowd of people, would I stop you from doing that?
Yes.
Okay, so if I see that you're making decisions for your child's future, which might end up with them killing themselves, or having substance abuse issues, or psychological damage from being picked on in school, some number of things that could easily be prevented from you just not making that decision / me giving my opinion and maybe changing your mind, why would I stop myself from doing it?
Well, I'm gonna if
it's about being judged, if it's about being said you're transphobic, I am willing to take the risk, because if one of my friends told me I'm going to tell my kid they're trans, I'm like, I'm going to smack you in the fucking head. For one, you shouldn't do that. Two,
no,
you're not that type of person. You never raised your kid that way. And people say, well, who are you to say? Look, I'm just going to say, my policy, your policy, if somebody has done something stupid, we tell them, hey, that's a bad fucking idea. It's not about being insulting. It's not about ruining you and your thing. I'm just honest.
Yeah, but it's not about... you may be a friend of mine, and I might love you, like you, think you're cool to hang out with, all that. But when it comes to the best interest of the child, not just my child, any child, when it comes to children, any normal, decent adult is the best interest of the children. As a parent, you're offended. I don't give a shit what you think. Honestly, I don't want you to dislike me, but the best interest of the child... The interest of the child, the best interest of the child comes before how you feel,
right?
And that's not the way a lot of people think. The best interest of the child, the safety of the child needs to be number one. And if you're offended with it as a parent, then too fucking bad. The safety of the child should be the biggest and only concern. You're an adult, you'll get offended, you'll get over it.
I have one last question.
Does that make any sense?
Right.
But people are looking at it through that lens. Oh, we don't want to offend anybody. Oh well.
So I have one last question, so we can wrap this up.
I talked about my bathroom and school thing. I haven't done that yet.
Okay, well, you can finish your closing thoughts, but I have one last question. If you were to have a message to people who were considering their kids being transgender or anything in that realm, what would you say to them as a parent? As having raised a child, what would your message be to them?
As a parent, I would say the children are going to have a lot of ideas. Their children, every 20 minutes they got a different idea. Some of them may be positive. A lot of them are going to be like jumping up a roof, driving a car. They want to cross the street without it. A lot of things they want to do are going to be unsafe, so you say no. When it comes to the transgender hormone therapy and the surgery and all that, really serious adult questions, we're still as a society trying to answer what it means to be transgender. This is all really 3, 4, 5. It's all really kind of new. I would say, stare them in the. Don't let them wear a dress when they're 5. When they're a girl, don't let them try to become a boy because they don't understand. They don't understand what they're doing, and it's wrong to encourage behavior that may be harmful for them when they don't understand the decision they're making. Does that make sense? So when they become a teenager, at 15 or 16, and now they understand, they have the mental comprehension. What that mean? Do they still want to do it? That is a whole different story. I still don't agree with it, but now the child at that age, 16, 17, has a very good idea what they're getting into, how they will be treated, and what that means for their life. Do you understand? Then at that age, they want to make the decision. Either the parent, you either got to accept it, or you don't talk to them anymore. You only got 2 choices. You know? You can still advise them against it, but it's different. If somebody, it's this simple life. As a child, they're too young to make that decision. As they become a teenager, if they want to make that decision, a teenager, they want to start hormone therapy and at 17, 18, not 13, 14, because they're not young enough. Let's say when they get close to 18, 16, 17, 18. And now they want to start to engage in that behavior. But now they know what it means, that's a whole different story. I still don't encourage it. I would still try to talk them out of it. But at least now they know. So the playing field is fair because they understand what they're getting into. And one last thing. So in Virginia, at 13 years old, 14, I think he was 13 years old, decided not only did he want to be able to use whatever bathroom he wanted to use, but he also, a gym wants to be able to use the girls' locker room. This is total bullshit, and it's ridiculous. The school gave him the right answer when they told him, no, you're a boy, so you need to use the bathroom that corresponds with the gender on your birth certificate, which is male. I said to and now the parents didn't like that answer, the kid didn't like that answer, so now he's suing the school department. The school department gave the right answer. In my mind, that should be the end of the same thing. If a 13-year-old girl said, hey, I want to use the boys, I identify as a boy, I want to use the boys' restroom, you give her the same answer you gave him. You identify as a girl on their birth certificate, your gender, you need to use the female bathroom, the female's bathroom, the female's locker room. Same answer to her as you gave to him. But apparently, we don't want to say no in this world, that we don't want to offend anybody. God forbid you tell somebody something they don't like. He's suing the school department, suing the parents. This is fucking ridiculous. The last thing I want to say is, so what the people that are suing the school, the parents and the people that are on the side, and what they're saying everybody is, doesn't matter how every woman in the school, all the girls in the school feel, right, that they're uncomfortable with it, with them using the bathroom, and naturally, girls are going to be more uncomfortable with it. It doesn't matter what the parents that are going along with us, so in the school department, other supporters of the parents and this child, what the saying of the public is. But it doesn't matter if the girl's offended, their feelings don't count. Out of hundreds of people at school, it only matters if he's upset. So as long as he's not upset, everybody else can be. And that's okay? What kind of fucking bullshit is that? In other words, do you see what I'm saying? That they think is ridiculous. Last thing, you're either born a boy or you're born a girl. People that can't figure this out.
Say that one more time. It cut off.
I said you're either born a boy with a penis or you're born a girl with a vagina. That's how Jesus made it. It's been like that since Jesus created man thousands of years ago, and it hasn't changed since. Some people want it to change. You put on a dress, doesn't make you a woman. You put on a football up, it doesn't make you a man. You're either biologically a man or biologically a woman. The society doesn't like it. Some people, that's too bad. That's the way it is.
All right, guys. That's it.
This has been Mike's take on jackasses. See you in the next one.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. This has been Mike's take, jackasses.
No.
See you in the next one. Peace out. Say that.
So,
look at the camera. Come on. You can do it.
All right, guys.
Look right here. You know the...
This has been Mike's takes, you jackasses. See you next time. Peace out.